Hello, my dear students. Today we will talk about the photosynthesis. We will take overview of photosynthesis. So let's start. Our key concept today, the overall process of photosynthesis produces sugars that store the chemical energy. We have two main ideas. Number one, photosynthetic organisms are producers. Number two, photosynthesis in plants occur in the chloroplasts. These are the organelles responsible for photosynthesis. Photosynthetic organisms are producers. Yes, some organisms are called producers because they produce the source of the chemical energy for themselves and the other organisms. These are the carbon-based molecules like the sugar glucose produced in photosynthesis. Plants as well as some bacteria and the protists are producers that are the main source of the chemical energy for most organisms on our planet Earth. Animals that eat only plants, these are the herbivores, obtain their chemical energy directly from plants. Okay, animals that eat other animals and bacteria and also fungi that decompose other organisms get their chemical energy indirectly from plants. When a wolf eats a rabbit, for example, the tissues of the rabbit provide the wolf with a source of chemical energy. The rabbit got this chemical energy from the plants, so the wolf will get this chemical energy from the rabbit tissues. The rabbit's tissues are built from its food source, the sugars and other carbon-based molecules in plants that the rabbit have eaten before it is caught by the wolf. These sugars are made through photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process that captures energy from sunlight to make sugars that store the chemical energy. These are the molecules that store the chemical energy. Therefore, directly or indirectly, the energy almost for all organisms begins as the sunlight. Yes, sunlight has several types of radiant energy, such as ultraviolet radiation, microwaves, and the visible light that lets you see. But look at the visible light itself. Plants absorb visible light for photosynthesis. The visible light appears white, but it is made of several colors or wavelengths of light. As you can see, these are the 7 colors that make the visible light. Chlorophyll is a molecule in chloroplasts that absorbs some of the energy in the visible light. Plants have two main types of chlorophyll. They are called the chlorophyll A and the chlorophyll B. Together, these two types of chlorophyll absorb mostly red and blue wavelengths of light. Neither type absorb the green light. Please pay attention to this part because the plants that have other light absorbing molecules that absorb the green light, but there are fewer of these molecules. This is why we see the plants as green, because the green color or the green wavelengths are not absorbed as much as the red and the blue wavelengths. As a result, the green color of plants come from the reflection of the light's green wavelengths by chlorophyll. We have a question here. Describe the importance of producers and photosynthesis. Describe the importance of producers and photosynthesis. Excellent. Photosynthesis enables the producers to capture energy from sunlight and they make sugars that store the chemical energy. The food produced becomes a source of energy for non-products or the consumers, other animals. Photosynthesis in plants occur in chloroplasts. So we will talk about the chloroplasts that are the membrane-bound organelles where photosynthesis takes place in plants. Most of the chloroplasts are in leaf cells that are specialized for photosynthesis. So we can find the chloroplasts in the cells of leaves, which has two main stages. The two main stages of the chloroplast needed for photosynthesis are grana and stroma. Let's see what about grana and stroma. As you can see in the picture, the grana, the singular granum, this are stacks of coin-shaped membrane enclosed compartments called the thylakoids. So these looks like coins. Each one of them is named thylakoid. Each compartment, which are many thylakoids, this is called granum. All these are called grana. The membranes of thylakoids contain chlorophyll and other light-absorbing molecules and proteins. Then we have the spaces in between these grana. This is the fluid that surrounds the grana inside a chloroplast. It is named stroma. So let's look at the stages of photosynthesis. We have two main stages. Number one, light-dependent reactions. So let's look about it. Light-dependent means it depends on light. The light-dependent reaction captures energy from sunlight. Since it will capture the energy, so it will need the chlorophyll. Where is the chlorophyll in the chloroplast? Yes, in the thylakoids. These reactions take place within and across the membrane of the thylakoids. Water and sunlight are needed for this stage of photosynthesis, the light-dependent reactions. Okay, number one, step number one, chlorophyll absorbs energy from sunlight. This is in the thylakoid. The energy is transferred along the thylakoid membrane. Then, water molecules are broken down, oxygen molecules are released. Great. What happens next? Step number two, energy carried along the thylakoid membrane is transferred to a molecule that carry energy such as ATP. Then stage number two, this is the light independent reactions. It does not need the light, so it will never happen in presence of chlorophyll. So this will happen in the stroma, not in the thylakoids or grana. The light-independent reactions use energy from the light-dependent reactions to make sugars. These reactions occur in the stroma of chloroplasts. Great. Carbon dioxide molecules are needed during this stage of photosynthesis. Sure. Step number three of photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is added to a cycle of chemical reactions to build larger molecules. Energy from the light-dependent reaction, if you remember, are used in this reaction. Step number four, a molecule of a simple sugar is formed. The sugar, usually glucose, C6H12O6, stores some of the energy that was captured from sunlight. And here is the whole process of photosynthesis. I'm sorry, this is the overview of photosynthesis. Inside the chloroplast, we have the thylakoids. We said in stage number one, the light-dependent reactions. It uses chlorophyll. It happens through the thylakoid membrane and in the thylakoid itself. The water molecules are broken down here and the oxygen is released. Then some of the energy is transported to the second stage, which is the light-independent reactions. This is where carbon dioxide molecules are used in a series of chemical reactions to produce 1,6-carbon sugar, which is glucose, C6H12O6. Okay, we have a question here, says, what are the reactants and the products of photosynthesis? Yes, excellent. The reactants are water, carbon dioxide. The products are sugar and oxygen. Okay, let's look about the overall equation of photosynthesis. 6 carbon dioxide molecules plus 6 water molecules, so many arrows involving light and enzymes, gives us the products C6H12O6, this is glucose, and 6 oxygen molecules. As you can see, there are many arrows between the reactants, carbon dioxide and water, and the products, a 6 carbon sugar and O2. These arrows tell you that photosynthesis has many steps. For example, the light-independent reactions need only one molecule of carbon dioxide at a time, and the 6-carbon sugar glucose comes from the reaction that combines two 3-carbon sugars. So these are two molecules, each one of them contains 3 carbon atoms. Also, enzymes and other chemicals are needed, not just light, carbon dioxide, and water. Glucose and other simple sugars such as fructose, this is the sugar of the fruits. Glucose and other simple sugars such as fructose are not only carbohydrates that come from photosynthesis. Plants need the simple sugars to build starch and cellulose molecules. The cellulose, this is the molecules that make up the cell walls of plant cells. In fact, plants need photosynthesis for their growth and development. We have a question here, says, how is energy from sunlight used to make sugar molecules? The answer is energy from sunlight is absorbed by the chlorophyll to generate energy carrying molecules, the ATPs. Then these ATP molecules are transferred to the reactions that make the sugars. I hope you understood this episode. See you in the next one. Thank you and goodbye.